Well, studies have shown as many as 1 in 14 Canadian soldiers develop PTSD at some point in their lives. Now, this is not exclusive to the military either. Psychologist Rowbottom joins us to talk about how trauma impacts our minds and what we can do to help ourselves and others. Lisa, good morning. Thanks so much for coming in. First of all, does trauma always cause PTSD?
No, it doesn't. There's certain times when it will, and there's a few characteristics that help the body and the brain decide if it will or won't. But some people can go through very traumatic experiences and come out without it.
Okay, so why is it that some soldiers or others will develop PTSD and others will not?
So there's a bit of a theory. We don't have an exact answer just because the brain is so complex. But the theory is that part of it is biological, so there's a bit of a genetic predisposition towards certain areas of the brain being more susceptible to the neurotransmitters that cause PTSD to happen. And then there tend to be people who have limited social support or are less likely to seek social support. So having a lot of friends around you is great, but if you never talk to them about anything, you know, it doesn't help. And then also there's the psychological piece, which is they have less emotion coping skills than other people may have, or they may have just had a longer exposure to different types of trauma, or they may have had exposure to trauma previously and then again. So there's a few factors.
Is there a way to protect against PTSD?
Yeah, definitely there is. So one of the things that we suggest people do even prior to anything happening is making sure that you have good ability to regulate your emotion. So you have the ability to recognize what's going on internally and you can sit with it and know what to do with it. And also making sure that you have those strong social connections around you, so friends, family, and just getting used to being able to talk about how you're feeling. During a traumatic event, they found that if you are able to look for areas within that event, if you have time, where you do have some control, because feeling completely out of control is one of the factors that leads to PTSD. And then afterwards, getting support or help as soon as possible before the trauma has the ability to set into your brain. So the shifts in your brain chemistry when you've been traumatized, if they don't shift back right away, they can become a little more set and it takes a little more time to shift them back. So the faster you can reach out to a professional, get some help. Those are some of the more important things.
Okay, now PTSD is something that we all continue to learn more about, but can sometimes struggle to define or recognize. Do you have any tips for people to recognize PTSD, either in themselves or in family members or friends?
So, I mean, one of the pieces is going to be obviously knowledge if a traumatic event has happened. And it can be a momentary traumatic event. It can be a traumatic event where you witness something terrible happen to someone. It doesn't necessarily have to happen to you. And then after the event, the person may start having flashbacks or really intense memories of what had happened. You probably will see a mood shift, so more difficulty controlling anger, more irritable. It's almost like the fight or flight response is dialed up.
Okay.
So they may, you know, kind of be more edgy than usual.
Okay. Lisa, we always appreciate your advice. Thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to get in touch with Lisa or know more, you can go to Sojourn Psychology at sojo.ca.